Wildlife officials in Tennessee have captured a 500-pound black bear living on a college campus. A black bear that, let's face it, took the spot of more deserving white and Asian bears.
LLJ Cool J. By the way, that man's got biceps bigger than my thighs.
LLJ Cool J? I think the second J stands for Jesus.
Ron DeSantis reportedly spent $1.5 million on private jets in just over 3 months because when he flies commercial, they make him take off his heels in front of everybody. Jim Jordan, seen here describing how he attacks the nipple, is no longer the nominee for House Speaker after Republicans dropped him Friday, which, by the way, he's used to because he was dropped a lot as a child. Elon Musk met with Benjamin Netanyahu this week and agreed that Israel must destroy Hamas. And I think Musk could destroy Hamas almost instantly by becoming their CEO.
This week, Donald Trump said that if elected, he would certainly implement a database system to track Muslims in the United States, which is absurd because there is simply no way that we, as Americans, don't already have that.
You get it?
The U.S. government announced that it would rename more than 600 rivers, mountains, and other landmarks that use a racial slur for Native American women. Wow, so we changed those names, but they can still just call a restaurant Cracker Barrel.
A doctor from Singapore has gone viral with a video telling people that they can get relief from constipation by sitting on the toilet cross-legged. So that's what they mean when they say crisscross applesauce.
An elderly woman in England who spent the night caring for a sick hedgehog was shocked when she took the animal to a vet and discovered it was actually a pom-pom from a hat. She said she couldn't wait to laugh about the incident with her husband.
Oh. Nick can't.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I heard you. Yeah. Hate it. A new trend among parents is to choose baby names that sound cool as TikTok handles. Great news for little baby Trick Shot COVID Hoax.
A new report shows that South Korea now has the world's lowest birth rate, despite the efforts of South Korean entertainer Nick Can-un. Last month, Beyonce posted a photo on Instagram of herself in a chrome Versace dress and platinum blonde hair that many people online described as too white. In fact, Beyonce looked so white that I was finally attracted to her.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, seen here waving COVID into the club. He attacked Disney for opposing the state's Don't Say Gay bill, calling the company a woke corporation. Disney denied the claims of wokeness with roughly 90 years of cartoons. Well, health officials say that the annual Gridiron Club dinner in Washington, D.C. became a COVID super spreader event with more than 50 high-ranking officials getting infected. The problem was a lot of people took off their masks during the post. A British lawmaker resigned after admitting that he watched porn on his phone in the chambers of Parliament, which seems pretty tame considering our Congress allows full penetration. Colleagues knew he was watching porn when a vote passed by a count of 650 yays to 1 oh my God yay. Oh my God. A group of geneticists have announced plans to bring back the dodo and reintroduce it to Africa. And if you ask me, I can think of at least one dodo I'd like to reintroduce to Africa.
In an interview, Senator Mitt Romney said that he will not vote for Donald Trump over Joe Biden. Now, some of you may remember Mitt Romney. After Nikki Haley's poor showing in Michigan, pressure is mounting for her to drop out of the race, but mostly because the dishes are piling up at home. I tell you, I like this guy.
A plane in Brazil was stranded on the runway after the plane's wing was covered by a swarm of bees. Bees who work together to spell out, "Wing is missing screws."
I like it.
So dumb. This year marks the first time since 2009 that a Marvel movie has not kicked off the summer movie season, which better be a one-time thing because a lot of people rely on Marvel movies to pay for the ferries they bought.
It tracks.
Yep. Spirit Airlines shares have fallen 58% after a federal judge blocked a merger with JetBlue. So now the only way Spirit and JetBlue will merge is midair.
That's 0 for 2?
Bernie Sanders announced his plan to legalize marijuana on Thursday at 4:20 because he likes his voters like he likes his taxes, high as hell. Actress Meryl Streep spoke at the UN and warned that a cat has more freedom in Afghanistan than a woman does, which raises an important question. What is the UN?
Kevin Federline, Britney Spears' ex-husband, this week became a father for the 6th time. So if you see him, let him know.
A Washington, D.C. art school is postponing renaming its theater after alumni Dave Chappelle following his Netflix special controversy. Well, of course, because God forbid you should name a building after someone problematic in Washington, D.C. Meanwhile, my old high school insists on keeping the Michael Chase Sucks Butt bathroom stall. This week, the WNBA finals were won by the New York Liberty. I'm kidding. Vegas beat them in 4, you phonies. You didn't see that game.
Speech Hillary Clinton was giving Thursday in Las Vegas, a female protester threw a shoe at her. And it's amazing police were able to identify the culprit considering how many ladies in Vegas are walking around with one shoe on. The World Health Organization is changing the name of monkeypox to mpox due to concerns that the original could be considered racist, which I didn't even really think was an issue, but now I'm just wondering, what's the N in N95?
Pennsylvania police arrested a one-armed woman who was trying to rob a bank. Police say the hardest part was figuring out how to handcuff her. Now that's just... No, you can't say that. An Apple factory in China is expected to cut production of iPhones by 6 million in response to ongoing worker protests. The workers' main demand is more playtime.
A church in Massachusetts has created a nativity scene that comments on the immigration debate by placing the baby Jesus in a cage, where he belongs. Warner Brothers is producing a new movie in which Superman is black. And a black Superman actually makes a lot of sense when you remember that Superman was abandoned by his parents as a baby. An obese monkey in Thailand named Godzilla has been sent to a special facility to lose weight. Officials realized the monkey was overweight when a bunch of black guys kept hitting on it.
Pretty racist, Colin. After this year's elections, a record-setting 12 states will have female governors, while the other 38 states will have dinner ready on time.
I want to switch it up a little. Che didn't write this one. This is all me.
I like to hear this.
Last week was National Rosa Parks Day, or as we call it in my house, Uppity Bus Passenger Day. The makers of Barbie have introduced the first ever Barbie with hearing aids. It teaches an important lesson. It doesn't matter if you're deaf, as long as that body banging.
A woman in Slovakia helped arrest a man robbing a gas station by performing oral sex on him until police arrived. The woman was able to stall him for that long by being terrible at it.
The bat used by Babe Ruth to hit his 500th home run was auctioned off this week. Also, I'll be auctioning off the bat I used to keep my neighborhood white. A substitute teacher in North Carolina has resigned after she reportedly told a class of elementary students that Martin Luther King Jr. killed himself. In her defense, he is the one who decided to keep running his mouth. Why? Get me murdered.
Yeah, so we're making each other read jokes live on air that the other person has never seen before.
Oh, God. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari, for the first time, denied months-old rumors that he had died and been replaced by a look-alike from Sudan. See, even Africans can't tell black people apart.
A new study shows that the average American touches their mobile device more than 2,000 times a day. Only 2,000 times, said my penis.
A church in Massachusetts has created a nativity scene that comments on the immigration debate by placing the baby Jesus in a cage, where he belongs.
A new report shows that Hurricane Florence was the wettest in history. The previous record for wetness was set on the opening night of Magic Mike.
Kevin Spacey, hold for applause, Kevin Spacey made his first public speaking appearance in 5 years where he thanked Italy's National Cinema Museum for having the balls to invite him. He also asked, "Could I touch the balls?" I'm kidding. He didn't ask permission.
It was reported that last year the population of China declined by 850,000 people, thanks to an increase in China's leading cause of death, protesting. China plans to reverse the population decline with an emergency import of Nick Cannon.
A substitute teacher in North Carolina has resigned after she reportedly told a class of elementary students that Martin Luther King Jr. killed himself. In her defense, he is the one who decided to keep running his mouth. Why? Tennis star Andy Murray was upset after an umpire at the Australian Open refused to let him take a bathroom break during a 5-set-long match. Worse, it was deuce.
A Catholic nun in France, who was believed to be the oldest person in the world, has died at the age of 118. Her cause of death was listed as answered prayer.
The U.S. Department of the Interior has changed the name of Squaw Valley, California, because it is considered a derogatory term for Native American women. Okay, I don't understand how that name gets changed, and yet no one cares there's an entire town in New York that mocks my people.
A new study finds that frogs in the rainforest have a higher pitch call than urban frogs. The study also finds that female frogs be shopping. I stand by that joke.
Due to a computer error, a school in Massachusetts has been unable to turn off its lights for over a year and a half. The students are doing fine, but the classroom hamster has gone insane.
A San Francisco panel studying reparations is proposing giving every black resident a one-time payment of $5 million. Well, that's a fantastic idea, said the Gucci store.
The location of Sex Island, which is a 4-day drug-fueled event featuring prostitutes and an exclusive resort, has been revealed to be an island off the coast of Trinidad and Tobago. This according to the plane ticket I saw in Shay's hand.
See you there. The CDC is warning people to not eat raw cookie dough because it may contain germs that can cause severe diarrhea. But on the bright side, you can eat cookie dough without ever gaining weight. In and out.
It was reported that the Boy Scouts of America are considering filing for bankruptcy in the face of declining membership. Yeah, apparently there's some problem with their business model of hoping parents will pay adult strangers to take their children deep into the woods. It was announced that the Broadway musical Avenue Q about raunchy puppets will close in the spring after 15 years. But if you still want to go see raunchy puppets, just head to Times Square and watch Elmo kicking pigeon.
The inflation rate in the U.S. reached 8.5% in March. To cover the higher prices, millions of families have been forced to take out a second OnlyFans account.
Google Earth has released a new feature that allows people to see a time lapse of how their neighborhood has changed over the last 40 years. Don't remind me, said my grandpa.
Video was posted of a police officer in San Francisco pulling over a driverless car, then the car driving away after the officer saw no one was behind the wheel. Even more amazing, he still managed to shoot an unarmed black guy.
Firefighters in Texas saved more than 100 snakes, including pythons and boa constrictors from a burning home. Said the homeowner, "Cool, so where's my wife?" The World Health Organization is changing the name of monkeypox to mpox due to concerns that the original could be considered racist, which I didn't even really think was an issue, but now I'm just wondering, what's the N in N95? A zoo in Atlanta will allow visitors to carry firearms. So you want to try laughing at me again, monkeys?
What happened to you, man? After this year's elections, a record-setting 12 states will have female governors, while the other 38 states will have dinner ready on time. Announced that its word of the year is gaslighting. Gaslighting, if you don't know, is a word my ex made up to magically win arguments that she was losing. The Senate passed the Respect for Marriage Act, which solidifies federal protections for interracial marriages. Okay, but if I marry a white lady, who's going to protect me from my mother? Tensions are on the rise after North Korea launched more than 20 missiles into the ocean, and all because the Little Mermaid is black. It's not real.
Tomorrow is the New York City Marathon, or as Fox News will report it, undocumented Africans run wild in streets of New York. The idea is to keep it fun, light. No one's going to get canceled. No one's families are going to get threatened. You know, have fun.
Sure, we'll see. Well, why don't you go first? Doctors in Iowa have confirmed a dog disease that can be passed on to humans. Fine, I'll wear a condom. That's fine.
An obese monkey in Thailand named Godzilla has been sent to a special facility to lose weight. Officials realized the monkey was overweight when a bunch of black guys kept hitting on it.
That's pretty racist.
You're gonna get me murdered. Oh, God. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari, for the first time, denied months-old rumors that he had died and been replaced by a look-alike from Sudan. See, even Africans can't tell black people apart.
It's just that it's very complicated.
It's kind of like how you feel about Colin Jost.
Oh, no. I love Colin. I will say that. In a offensive way, you never had sex with me, you might have the cure for cancer. A 96-year-old German woman who was a secretary at a Nazi concentration camp has been released from detention. She is now safely in the custody of her grandson. What's up,
Hey, Michael, wait. What are you doing?
An update feature. Wow. So this is SNL.
And Grandma, if you're watching, go to bed. A new report finds that as people move into formerly wild areas of Africa, human activity is disrupting chimpanzee culture. Incidentally, chimpanzee culture is also what my grandpa calls hip-hop. Why?
I wouldn't have said that. Do a split screen of Colin and Stephen Miller for 1 second.
You don't have to do that.
Okay. Now, audience, by a round of applause, who do you think Hitler would want to be friends with? Stephen Miller or Colin Nixon Jost?
That's not my middle name. A substitute teacher in North Carolina has resigned after she reportedly told a class of elementary students that Martin Luther King Jr. killed himself. In her defense, he is the one who decided to keep running his mouth. Why? A church in Massachusetts has created a nativity scene that comments on the immigration debate by placing the baby Jesus in a cage, where he belongs.
A new report shows that Hurricane Florence was the wettest in history. The previous record for wetness was set on the opening night of Magic Mike. Pope Francis ended a Vatican summit by promising the Catholic Church would confront the clergy sex abuse head on, instead of their usual way, face down, ass up. Las Vegas is opening a pop-up vaccine site in a strip club, and don't worry, the strippers say the vaccine is a lot like Michael Che. Very quick, and you can barely feel it go in.
I know that we've had a lot of fun with me reading racist jokes that Michael writes for me, but because our country is already divided enough, I'd like to use my platform to say something that everyone of all races can agree on. Woody Allen is innocent. He did nothing wrong.
Police are being investigated after video surfaced of them using excessive force on a homeless black man accused of urinating in public. But I say great work keeping our streets clean, boys. Yes, sir. Anything the police do is all right with old Mikey Che.
Warner Brothers is producing a new movie in which Superman is black. And a black Superman actually makes a lot of sense when you remember that Superman was abandoned by his parents as a baby.
I know I'm probably the only black man brave enough to say this on live TV, but blue lives matter even more. Pretty insane that a major city is about to completely run out of water for in 2 months, and I'm just now hearing about this. It's kind of embarrassing. I feel like I should care more about Africa. Kind of like when you run into an old friend and ask, "Hey, how's your kid?" And she's like, "Che, he's your son too."
Well, I knew you'd like that one, so here's another one. And before I go, I just thought of another punchline for that black Superman story. Warner Brothers is producing a new movie in which Superman is black. In this version, black Superman's kryptonite is an honest day's work.
Really doubling down on black Superman.
Black Superman will be referred to as the Man of Steel, spelled S-T-E-A-L. We have a tradition where Che and I give each other jokes to read.
Oh, yes. That's true. We're making each other read jokes live on air that the other person has never seen before.
Yeah, fun, harmless, inoffensive jokes, right, Che?
Yeah, man. Why don't you go first, though?
A student in Texas who is nicknamed White Lightning set a high school record by running the 100-meter dash in 9.98 seconds. Coincidentally, people call me White Lightning because I also finish in under 10 seconds.
Doctors in Iowa have confirmed a dog disease that can be passed on to humans. Fine, I'll wear a condom. Oh, wow.
Okay. A new report finds that as people move into formerly wild areas of Africa, human activity is disrupting chimpanzee culture. Incidentally, chimpanzee culture is also what my grandpa calls hip-hop. Why?
Whoa. I wouldn't have said that. Pope Francis ended a Vatican summit by promising the Catholic Church would confront the clergy sex abuse head on instead of their usual way, face down, ass up. This will be good.
Yeah, sure. A substitute teacher in North Carolina has resigned after she reportedly told a class of elementary students that Martin Luther King Jr. killed himself. In her defense, he is the one who decided to keep running his mouth. Why? You're going to get me murdered. Recent polls show that Pete Buttigieg has only 4% support among African Americans. But that'll change once Pete announces his running mate, the Popeyes chicken sandwich.
Wow. A new interview with England's Prince Andrew is being called a total disaster after he said his friend Jeffrey Epstein conducted himself in a manner unbecoming. I don't know. From what I've read, it sounded like he'd be coming all the time. That was terrible, man.
The bat used by Babe Ruth to hit his 500th home run was auctioned off this week. Also, I'll be auctioning off the bat I used to keep my neighborhood white.
Researchers are testing a new method to treat cancer by injecting the cells with the herpes virus. So good news, if you've ever had sex with me, you might have the cure for cancer.
Oh, man. Okay, this is not, I'm already so worried. Okay, it says, okay, timeout. I refuse to read this last joke, not because it's racist, but because there's a black man holding my cue card. It says I can't work like this, so Merry Christmas, homeboy, you're fired.
Fired the man on Christmas collar.
Many doctors are saying that they have a hard time convincing their black patients to agree to take the COVID vaccine. Well, maybe they should try telling them it makes you immune from paying child support.
Whoa. That's pretty racist, Colin. It was revealed that the sequel to the movie Hocus Pocus is in the works for Disney+, which, judging by this picture, is a movie about every white woman I've ever slept with. Cool. Well, yeah, that's fine.
This week marks the 65th anniversary of Rosa Parks refusing to give up her seat on an Alabama bus. And I just wish that all black people could follow her example of sitting down and shutting up.
The Palm Beach mansion, once owned by Jeffrey Epstein, will soon be demolished. And I'm honestly shocked that they would demolish a place where I have so many fond memories. Rest in power, King.
Oh, God. It was announced that Creed singer Scott Stapp will play Frank Sinatra in an upcoming movie. But the good news is Sammy Davis Jr. will be played by Scarlett Johansson. Okay. A church in Massachusetts has created a nativity scene that comments on the immigration debate by placing the baby Jesus in a cage, where he belongs.
A new study shows that the average American touches their mobile device more than 2,000 times a day. Only 2,000 times, said my penis.
Oh, God. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari, for the first time, denied months-old rumors that he had died and been replaced by a lookalike from Sudan. See, even Africans can't tell black people apart.
A new report shows that Hurricane Florence was the wettest in history. The previous record for wetness was set on the opening night of Magic Mike.
This is on cards. I want to switch it up a little. Che didn't write this one. This is all me.
I like to hear this.
Last week was National Rosa Parks Day, or as we call it in my house, Uppity Bus Passenger Day.
Oh, you're going to get letters about that. That's fine.
An obese monkey in Thailand named Godzilla has been sent to a special facility to lose weight. Officials realized the monkey was overweight when a bunch of black guys kept hitting on it.
That's pretty racist, Colin. Las Vegas is opening a pop-up vaccine site in a strip club. And don't worry, the strippers say the vaccine is a lot like Michael Che. Very quick, and you can barely feel it go in.
Warner Brothers is producing a new movie in which Superman is black. And a black Superman actually makes a lot of sense when you remember that Superman was abandoned by his parents as a baby. Well, I knew you'd like that one, so here's another one. Warner Brothers is producing a new movie in which Superman is black. In this version, black Superman's kryptonite is an honest day's work.
Really doubling down on black Superman. San Diego police are being investigated after video surfaced of them using excessive force on a homeless black man accused of urinating in public. But I say great work keeping our streets clean, boys. Yes, sir. Anything the police do is all right with old Mikey Che. I know I'm probably the only black man brave enough to say this on live TV, but blue lives matter even more.
It's really nice of you.
Okay. Whoa.
This week, construction began on a new hip-hop museum in the Bronx. And I know that we've had a lot of fun with me reading racist jokes that Michael writes for me, but because our country is already divided enough, I'd like to use my platform to say something that everyone of all races can agree on. Woody Allen is innocent. He did nothing wrong. And before I go, I just thought of another punchline for that Black Superman story. Black Superman will be referred to as the Man of Steel, spelled S-T-E-A-L.
One of the most popular new video games is Trombone Champ, which is a Guitar Hero style game for the trombone. Trombone Champ is also the nickname of a very popular lady in my neighborhood. Rishi Sunak will become Great Britain's first ever prime minister of Indian descent. Said his mom, okay, why not king?
A new study says that the combined mass of every ant on Earth is greater than the mass of every mammal and bird combined, thanks mostly to this juicy bitch. During a White House ceremony, President Biden wished Kamala Harris a happy birthday, then accidentally called her a great president. Even worse, he was talking to a portrait of Michelle Obama.
Georgia Senate candidate Herschel Walker denied reports that he paid for a girlfriend's abortion, saying, I send money to a lot of people, before adding, for abortions. After the news broke that Walker paid for his ex-girlfriend's abortion, he raised more than $500,000, because dollars are the only thing Walker is willing to raise. Herschel Walker denied allegations from a second woman that he pushed her to have an abortion, saying, I'm done with this foolishness, which is also what Walker says when he takes off the condom. The woman claims that Walker drove her to an abortion clinic, then waited in the parking lot for hours until she had the procedure. Not only that, while he was in the parking lot, he got 2 more women pregnant.
Yeah. New Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has been accused of spreading white supremacist ideas, which is crazy. We're now counting Italians as white? John Fetterman, who is still recovering from a stroke, and Dr. Mehmet Oz met for their only debate before the midterms. And just like in his puppy experiments, Dr. Oz showed no mercy. Fetterman began his opening statement by saying, "Good night, everybody." It was a bizarre moment that debate watchers called his high point. I honestly don't understand why Fetterman was allowed to do this debate. Who's his campaign manager? The Miami Dolphins concussion doctor? And by the way, it's not like Dr. Oz did great. He just did slightly better than a recent stroke victim. At one point, Dr. Oz suggested that if a woman wants an abortion, she should consult a local politician, which sounds like a great way to get an abortion 5 years late and $10 million over budget. Louisiana police arrested a man for shooting his 18-year-old son during an argument over orange juice. It's considered the second worst crime that OJ is responsible for.
McDonald's announced a new Oreo Shamrock Shake. Coincidentally, Oreo Shamrock is also what Colin calls Obama.
A new survey lists the best city to live in the country as Boise, Idaho. while the worst city was once again Rat Orgy, Delaware.
A California company has created a new marijuana-based vaginal suppository to help women suffering from menstrual pain. And ladies, if you're lucky, it might give your boyfriend the munchies.
Taco Bell is selling a strawberry Skittles freeze made with Skittles candy. You know, Mexican food. Just like mi abuela used to make.
A new report shows that Hurricane Florence was the wettest in history. The previous record for wetness was set on the opening night of Magic Mike.
A woman was arrested in Florida after she stole 4 watches and hid them inside her vagina. Officials became suspicious when the woman took a licking but kept on ticking. A new study lists the best city in the U.S. to raise a family as Moscow, Idaho, while the worst is once again Handsy Uncle, Maryland.
I know that place.
According to reports, Kim Jong-un has not been seen in public for over a month after injuring his ankles. And not, as I had hoped, because he's traveling around the world in Dennis Rodman's backpack.
Golf Digest magazine has created a controversy over a new cover featuring 20-year-old golfer Lexi Thompson posing with only a towel covering her breasts. But before you call them sexist, they did the same thing last month with Arnold Palmer. Military officials have announced that they will increase missions to train, advise, and assist troops in the African nation of Niger. The focus on Niger is viewed as a direct challenge to President Trump's autocorrect.
A gay couple in Wisconsin says their landlord has threatened to evict them if they don't take down their gay pride flag. And it is truly shocking to me that in 2019, there are still gay people who haven't left Wisconsin.
A man in New York State was trapped inside his car for 10 hours overnight when a plow covered his car in 4 feet of snow. Even more amazing, his wife believed that story.
A candy store in Los Angeles has created a 440-pound peanut butter cup. It's called CeeLo.
And now owners of the Brooklyn bowling alley where the New York doctor with Ebola visited are having the entire facility professionally cleaned, thus making it no longer technically a bowling alley.
A housing developer in Arizona has created new apartments costing $1,000 a month that are made out of shipping containers. It's all part of his plan to trick Mexicans.
Peloton's being called sexist for a new ad showing a wife obsessively using a Peloton bike that her husband gave her. But at least they decided against using the slogan, Peloton, you better keep it tighter than the babysitter.
Elon Musk defended himself from allegations that he reportedly exposed himself to a flight attendant on his private jet, saying, quote, if I were inclined to engage in sexual harassment, this is unlikely to be the first time in my entire 30-year career that it comes to light. Ooh, sorry, we were looking for a simple did not do it. The answer was did not do it.
Colombian veterinarian has been charged with allegedly smuggling heroin inside of puppies. This according to the very dark sequel to The Secret Life of Pets.
In an effort to draw attention to National Breast Cancer Awareness Month in Minnesota, more than 10,000 bras were hooked together and hung from a crane. Well, I do not want to know how Minnesota celebrates Black History Month.
Scientists are working to develop advanced ultra-black materials that are so dark they absorb 99% of all light. Oh, sure, but when I try to develop ultra-black material, I'm booed at the Apollo.
The annual New York City taxi calendar has been released featuring pictures of topless cab drivers, while a calendar of Uber drivers is available on the sex offender registry.
Oh, God. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari, for the first time, denied months-old rumors that he had died and been replaced by a look-alike from Sudan. See, even Africans can't tell black people apart.
First Lady Melania Trump, or as I've been calling her, sexy-ass Michael Jackson, launched a campaign to stop cyberbullying called Be Best, as in, it would be best if you got a divorce.
Krispy Kreme is marking the landing of the rover on Mars by offering a limited edition donut modeled after Mars. It's different from their usual donut, which is modeled after Uranus. Many conservatives in Texas are falsely blaming the state's power outages on renewable energy sources, while other conservatives think that the power outages are more likely the result of gay marriage.
A nail salon in Queens called Isis Nails has finally changed its name after suffering harassment from locals who thought the store was connected to the terrorist group. Though I don't know how much better things will be with their new name, Nail-Qaeda.
I'm worried about this one now. An auction of Nazi memorabilia was held, which featured items such as Hitler's top hat and Eva Braun's dress. And it's tough to auction off Nazi memorabilia because everyone always looks like they're bidding. Thank you. Some applause. Wow.
I like this. Harvey Weinstein has reportedly beaten the coronavirus, but there's still a chance he could be contagious. At least that's what he's yelling to anyone who gets near him in the showers. A 2-year-old in South Carolina found a revolver in the car and ended up shooting his grandmother in the back, like a coward. Which, by the way, this would have never happened if the grandmother also had a gun.
Republicans also released their tax plan this week, which explains why Paul Ryan's been rock hard since Thursday.
A man in Arizona is claiming that he can relieve sinus pressure in his nose by masturbating. He first made the claim while police were removing him from the bus.
For this actual headline I read today, disabled chicken who survived weasel attack learning to walk thanks to custom wheelchair. Guys, just eat the chicken. In an unprecedented move that could cause lasting damage to the Supreme Court, a draft opinion was leaked, which indicates that they intend to overturn Roe v. Wade. So the court is usually careful, but they slipped up just this once, and now they've got to live with it forever. Wow. Sounds really unfair. The opinion was written by Justice Samuel Alito, and he bases his arguments on laws from the 1600s. So it's an outdated opinion from an angry 70-year-old. This shouldn't be a Supreme Court decision. It should just be a Facebook post. The opinion also seems like it was written in a weird conservative bubble. Here's how you know. He quotes his own colleague, Brett Kavanaugh, 6 times, one for each beer in the pack. He even cites Kavanaugh on civil rights, which is like citing Amber Heard on how to make a bed.
Welcome to Weekend Update. I'm Michael Che.
I'm Colin Jost. Well, zoo announced that a 14-year-old endangered chimpanzee named Naya is pregnant. Said the zoo's janitor, "She told me she was 18.
The wrong number was announced in this week's $86 million Mega Millions jackpot drawing, which is why I had to go into Lauren's office and unquit.
The makers of Barbie have introduced the first ever Barbie with hearing aids. It teaches an important lesson. It doesn't matter if you're deaf, as long as that body banging. The New York Times said it changed the answer from Monday's Wordle, which was fetus, because it was too closely connected to a major news story. Tough news for psychos whose first Wordle guess is always fetus.
Amazon announced that it will pay employees who have to travel to get an abortion up to $4,000 in expenses every year. The only catch is you got to do it during your 8-minute lunch break. There is renewed speculation about Vladimir Putin's health after he was photographed at a military parade with a heavy blanket across his lap. But hear me out, maybe the blanket is because thinking about war gets him hard as hell.
Well, if you feel like things are a little off this week, remember, yesterday was Friday the 13th. Tomorrow is a super blood moon. And according to the most annoying person you know, Mercury is in retrograde. Is it me, or does every story this week sound like the opening voiceover in a Mad Max movie? The year is 2022. A virus rages across the planet. The U.S. government hit its debt limit on Thursday, and the country now risks defaulting on its bills. And look, we've all been there, you know. You spend too much because life's too short, then the bill comes due, the bank won't loan you money anymore. Then you have no choice. You have to buckle down, face the music, and blow up your Staten Island ferry for insurance money. What? Recently, tennis star Andy Murray was upset after an umpire at the Australian Open refused to let him take a bathroom break during a 5-set-long match. Worse, it was deuce.
Fishermen in Florida have discovered a 214-year-old clam that was born the same year as Abraham Lincoln. The clam credits his longevity to staying away from the theater. A California man has set a new world record by visiting Disneyland for 2,995 consecutive days, but still no sign of his kid. A new study... I tried to plow right through. A new study finds that married men live a longer, healthier life. Yeah, but for what?
As this year's awards season gets underway, there's growing movement to get rid of the gendered categories of Best Actor and Best Actress, and instead call them Best Actor and Best Actor who got paid less. House Republicans, concerned that China could use TikTok to illegally gather information on Americans, have voted for a bill that could ban the app nationwide. Replied TikTok users.
The U.S. Energy Department concluded that COVID likely originated from a Wuhan laboratory leak and not a wet market. So I gave up eating bats for nothing? Newspapers around the country dropped the cartoon strip Dilbert after creator Scott Adams said he chose to live in a community where no black people live. So he lives in your building, huh, Colin?
Cryptocurrency crashed this week with Bitcoin losing nearly half its value, and now it has to legally change its name to BitOcoin. In fact, the entire crypto market has lost over $1 trillion, but don't worry, you can make that money back fast, as long as you've been hoarding baby formula. New York City officials say they have received over 7,000 rat sightings here in New York. So everybody, look under your seat. The Oklahoma City's...
It was announced that a new disco-themed roller skating rink will open this summer in Central Park. Another classic 70s trend returning to the park this summer, stabbings. Apple announced that after 20 years, it will stop production of its iPod Touch because Apple products become obsolete once they're older than the kids who make them.
Senator Mitch McConnell, seen here watching a shelter dog get passed up for adoption. Led a congressional delegation for a surprise visit to Ukraine today. It's weird because usually when McConnell shows up by surprise, it's behind you in the bathroom mirror. The Biden classified document scandal and the Trump classified document scandal are very different, but they do share one big thing in common. They both make Hillary Clinton want to blow her goddamn brains out. It would have been so funny if they searched Biden's garage and he had Hillary's server.
It was reported that last year the population of China declined by 850,000 people, thanks to an increase in China's leading cause of death, protesting. China plans to reverse the population decline with an emergency import of Nick Cannon.
State senators said the bill will prevent kids from being, quote, blindsided by a sexualized performance in public. What are you talking about? Drag shows don't just pop up like flash mobs and sprinkle gay dust on your kids. I never accidentally happened upon a drag show, and I grew up in New York City. Now, I have been blindsided by a sexualized performance a few times, but that's just what you get when you take the bus.
really sad, man.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
A new trend among younger workers is Bare Minimum Monday, in which they do as little as possible on the first day of the work week, while a new trend among World War II veterans is realizing their sacrifice meant nothing. Biologists in Florida are warning that the Jesus Christ lizard, named for its ability to run on water, could spread harmful diseases to humans. They hope to control the population by introducing a Pontius Pilate lizard.
That's sweet.
It was reported that the James Bond books are being rewritten to remove offensive material. So the character Pussy Galore will now be called Cooter Aplenty. This week, South Carolina attorney Alex Murdaugh was found guilty of murder and also found guilty of looking like Will Ferrell dressed as Conan O'Brien.
The House Ethics Committee has announced an investigation into George Santos. Well, thank God I'm not George Santos, said George Santos. Donald Trump accused Ron DeSantis of wanting to cut Social Security and Medicare and called the Florida governor a wheelchair over the cliff kind of guy. Wheelchair over the cliff is also how Melania will finally get rid of him.
Tennessee Governor Bill Lee has signed a new law banning public drag performances with a 6-year prison sentence for repeat offenders. As first predicted in the now documentary, Medea Goes to Jail. A Tennessee state digital money has collapsed. Infants have nothing to eat. Women are forced to breed. Men are ready to die for gasoline. And we suffer under the leadership of the one known only as Joe.
Kevin Spacey will star in a historical drama about Genghis Khan's grandson. Said Spacey, you had me at grandson.
Well, guys, this is just in. The winner of this year's Eurovision Song Contest is Kalush Orchestra, a group from Ukraine. And this is cool. If you combine every member of Kalush Orchestra, you get Post Malone. The Trump International Hotel in Washington, D.C. has been sold for a reported $375 million. Well, I wouldn't say reported, said the IRS. A member of the punk rock group Pussy Riot, which has long protested Vladimir Putin, revealed that she fled the country disguised as a food delivery worker, which explains this notification from DoorDash.
You know, this baby formula shortage is scary. I mean, babies are very sensitive. You can't just feed them anything. I once tried to give my little nephew something different than his usual formula, and he nearly choked on that hot wing bone. The January 6th committee has subpoenaed 5 sitting Republican congressmen after they refused to testify voluntarily. Said the Republican congressman, you can't force us to do anything. We're not pregnant. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has proposed a new policy permanently banning mask mandates and vaccine requirements, saying, when the world lost its mind, Florida was a refuge of sanity. Then everyone in the crowd took a hit of nitrous and bit a cop. Donald Trump responded to reports that Ron DeSantis will run against him for the Republican nomination, saying, we'll handle this the way I handle things. So rough and without consent. A Catholic nun in France, who is believed to be the oldest person in the world, has died at the age of 118. Her cause of death was listed as answered prayer. You never know, Colin.
Some owners of McDonald's franchises are reportedly concerned about a campaign partnership with Cardi B, especially the ad where they claim their burgers have a wet-ass patty.
Oh. A porn star in Australia revealed that while recently filming a new movie, he broke his penis and said it... This is really sad, ma'am. He broke his penis and said it went completely black, which, you know, means it's never going back. The man has adjusted to his new black penis by filming all his sex scenes in Timberlands. A man in Missouri is planning to turn an abandoned jail into an Airbnb rental, which will make it the first jail that refuses to accept black people. It was announced that Puerto Rico's only zoo is closing after years of alleged animal neglect. Worse, the zoo is closing is being advertised as all you can eat. That's how he really dances, too. First Lady Jill Biden said in an interview that she maintains a good balance in the types of advice she offers President Biden. But it's mostly, hold on to the railing.
No. Newspapers dropped the cartoon strip effective immediately, and to rub it in, they're replacing Dilbert with Peanuts' Oops All Franklin. Dilbert creator Scott Adams' racist rant was in response to the results of a poll that asked respondents the question, is it okay to be white? Oh, I'd say it's more than just okay.